So I was doing a video and it's cut out. Basically half of my audio and video was already broken. So I had to literally repair it. So I was sitting there talking on the phone without recording, which that pisses me off. I don't know what happened, but I'm probably gonna cut the shit short. I don't want to do it over again. Right? So like I was trying to say, you see that these guys in these other countries are considered the most attractive. They look like everyday guys in their country. They just have celebrity. But it seemed to me that if you look at their women in these countries and you look down at the bottom, the women in other countries have access to beautiful women at the bottom, in the middle, and in the top. There's a reason why these men don't leave their wives and don't leave their culture to date other cultures of women. There's some guys, they just are fine not getting any woman at all. Because if they have to leave their culture of women that they know they look better than, they don't have a bigger deal. Now, there's a phenomenon of black women, white women, Brazilian women, women in feminist countries going to the Middle East. They're going to China. They're going to Japan. They're going to South Korea in order to get husbands because they messed up in their country. Even women in the UK, they go into China and UK in order to date these guys. Some of them, a lot of them are failing. There's a small group of women that are succeeding and they're still married to their guy. They got their second chance. The reason why these women don't talk about it because they're embarrassed and they're pretty much skank holes in their country. They're nobodies. They burnt their bridges in their country. They burnt their bridges in the UK, New Zealand, Australia, Canada, the United States. And they don't want to sit there and badmouth all the men that they know that they took responsibility for the fact that they picked the wrong men and they went out and got better men. They got with men from another culture to start over. And I can respect that. There's a reason why the men don't give up their women to date women in America or in these feminist countries. Because the women are not the same everywhere. Because if they was, these men would be coming over here in droves. Backed by the United States, mind you. As long as these immigrants do the work that other Americans don't want to do, and as long as they vote certain ways and they get into office and help their people, they can tear up a bunch of women here. I know Indian dudes, I know Middle Eastern dudes who be running through women. I know a supermarket that I go to, they got nothing but pretty Hispanic there. Pretty Hispanic women that are at the cash register. Some of them left because they got tired of being ran through. And they had nothing but pretty cashiers. Until they didn't. But I know the Middle Eastern dudes are running through black chicks, running through anybody who hired. I know the Asian dudes who had hired women and they was getting, sucked off in the back and bringing these uses behind people in the stock, the stock in their stores. So guys are out here are playing that card, but they would never bring them home to their moms, their families. But that's a small subsection of men. Do the men in their culture never tell them that hey, you can't get women in China? They never say this to their men. Did you ever hear Brazilian men said, you can't get men. Why you had to go overseas to go get a woman? There's women in Brazil. And there's a lot of Brazilian men talking about Brazilian women. Why the Chinese men are not saying that? You can't get women in China, so why you have to go to Africa to go get your nuts? You hear Indian men who come over here. Oh, you can't stay in India, so why would you go to America? Why would you go try to date some other races of woman in America? We're the only fucktards who have those kind of stupid ass dudes making videos. If there's men out here that are making constant videos about their women, and there are men not talking down to them and none of that crap, because they know what it is. They know that they got a problem. Every other race seem to admit their problems with their women, other than the feminized countries. Other than that, men would rather die than to leave their culture of women, because their culture of women look 10 times better. Their bottom tier, mid-tier, and the higher tier women all pretty much look the same. They just have different jobs and they have different celebrity. You can find some of the most beautiful women in the bottom tier or at a certain pay grade. And in the mid-tier, you can find the same looking woman who look just as good as the woman at the bottom. You got men who clean up dog shit in their country or clean up dead bodies and still come home with a cooked food. You never hear certain women in other countries who live in war-torn countries telling their men they need to make $100,000. There's so many feminized groups that are trying to take women out of their country to inflate their voting system in order to keep themselves in power, and it's not working. The UK, Australia, Canada, United States, New Zealand, I forgot, what is it? Not New Zealand. What's the other country? I forgot what that country is. I forgot what the other country is. These countries have an actual campaign sending emails and sending stuff to every country they can in order to take women and bring them here to become new voters for feminized and countries and stuff. It's not working all that well. And this country get played too. They work with their husbands. They come here and pretend they feminists while they're married, and then turn on the people who gave them power, and then close the door. Close the door and be like, hey, what are you talking about? I didn't vote for you. I got a husband. And he works at this right here. Why is it that when men from overseas come here, they don't trade up their wives for American women, better looking American women? It's called cultural loyalty, and it's also called a better culture, better deal. Why do you think the women are not leaving for a better deal, leaving these so-called poor men? It's funny that a lot of these women have poor men and they still don't leave them. There are men that are in huts that get sex 3 times a day, but you're told that you have to make $100,000 and have a fit body. A lot of these countries don't have a fresh and fit. A lot of these countries don't have. A lot of these countries do have MGTOW because the feminism is in their country, but the feminism hasn't taken over like it did in our country. There's still a patriarchal system in a higher up in the government in Japan. You can find certain women in a lower level in almost every single country. You can find a model looking women. You can find you can find at least 50% better looking women than you would ever find in America every day. There's guys who went to Brazil and said they went to malls, they went to McDonald's, and they saw nothing but model looking chicks. There's guys who went to Middle Eastern, they went to, they went to some Middle Eastern countries, and these women had hijabs on, and they still look better than some of the women here. There's feminist women here, and they still look better than them. There's women who are tomboys in Brazil that still look better than the tomboys here. There's studs in some countries that still look better than the women over here. The competition is just devastating to none of the women. There's certain women that could come here and just clean up in money, in attention, and everything else, and go right back to our country and get not even half of that. You ever actually follow a lot of the women on social media, on Instagram, and a lot of these beauty pageant girls and these Middle Eastern girls and these girls in some of these countries, they barely have 1,000, they barely have 10,000 followers in their country because they don't matter, because they can find these women at the lower level. Let me check. Okay, it's still going because I'm not trying to, It's funny, right? There's no Fresh and Fit. There's no Dime Game in these countries. There's none of these motherfuckers on there talking their shit, and there's no aberrant preach overseas. There's a reason why a lot of men go overseas, so we can cut that noise out. You can cut that fucking noise out, and you don't have to hear this bullshit over here. So I don't even understand, why the fuck would you leave the country just to taunt women over here, to go back and forth with anybody over here? I have never seen anybody, any traveling bros, and anybody who talk like anybody on here who talk about traveling and SYSPM and none of this stuff. I never hear anybody giving perspective on the different markets, and also basically the different levels of attractions that people have overseas, and what you're against when it comes down to competition. Because people keep believing that women are racist, but women like a certain type of guy, and you can't convince her otherwise. You can just convince the women who are pretty much got their foot out the door, and you might have access to the same looking women because they have better looking women by a dozen. That's why a lot of guys go overseas. So there's women who jobs that look 10 times better than women who don't have jobs on. There's religious women. Why you think there's so many passport bros willing to leave their black culture, black family, and start from zero to go to another country, learn another language, and leave this shit alone? And they end up leaving this country altogether, keeping their citizenships just in case something happens, and cut the entire family, friends off, and anything else, and learn another language. Because the culture is worth it. The deal is worth it. These women are more loyal than the black women, than the white women, than the women over here in this country who always looking for a better deal. And exposed culture is at a minimum in other countries. I wanted to ask the question to everybody out here, right? When the Austin Holloman situation happened, right? Why none of the women that Austin Holloman smashed ever came forward and talked about him? Remember, based off the logic of everybody else, he's paying them. So why none of these women came forward? Because I know the Stephanie Bergolo chick was paid off by women over here to go after Austin Holloman because his attention seeking. So why didn't they probably would have paid off every girl that Asa Holloman slept with to try to make him look bad. Why did none of the girls come forward to talk about him and had they sad story? Remember, women are the same everywhere based off these guys, based off what these guys say. Women are the same everywhere. So why expose culture is prevalent in feminist countries and not prevalent in all these other countries? Why is these women not trading up on their husbands who work lower level jobs? They can easily go with a cartel guys. They can easily go with some cartel guys. They can easily go and they can easily go to Canada and throw their family away, or take their family from their kids and go to Canada or New Zealand. Because I already know the initiative. Yeah. See, you're not talking to somebody who's not smart. You're talking to somebody who actually knows the deal. These countries, America included, are trying to get these women to leave their husbands like they did back then. They're doing the same playbook. Leave their husbands and give them at least like starter money to come here and be voters for America, for their agendas. But it ain't working. It's failing. But hey, women are the same everywhere. This is what I'm told by these crappy people, that women are the same everywhere. And somehow every woman is the same. But they're not taking the deals. They're not leaving their poor husbands. There's women out here there's men that I know out here who who slept in storage containers or storage facilities with their wife when they first moved here in America. And the woman didn't leave. She didn't cheat on him. She didn't leave him. She stayed with him. There's men out here who live in mud houses, who get sex 3 times a day from their wives. There's men who works in warehouses who get more respect from their wives than a guy here. They're not building anything. They're not successful men. They're not even attractive guys like that. And they still get respect from their women. They don't have big dicks. They don't have muscles. They're not going to the fucking gym. But for some reason, their women are still with them. But you want to tell us that it's plethora of women out here, right? Where they at? Where the women at like that? Because I can tell you from what I think, a lot of these men in other cultures have fan clubs. They could find at least 2 women or 3 women that are like them for who they are. Small dick and all, short guy all, socially awkward and all. They could find them. Just feminism just fucked up the communication between the relationships, and they lost each other. Just like they did here, but they ruined us way before. A lot of other countries kept that shit out of their country as much as possible. That's the reason why there's no representation in China. That's the reason why there's no representation in Japan. There's no reason why there's no LGBTQ bullshit going on in other countries. They kept that shit out of their country. They're not. It's not in their media. They're not trying to replace certain people with black people in America. They're not trying to replace people in this. They're not dealing with that shit like that. So women are the same everywhere, but I can show you they're not. Do women have the same qualities? Certain qualities? Yes. Certain aspects of themselves that every woman have? Yes. But y'all acting like women are the same everywhere. Y'all keep trying to put that out there. Of if you can't, why would you go over there? You never hear Chinese men telling their men, well, you better stay here in China and get married to a woman here. You don't hear that in all these other countries. You don't hear that in these feminist countries like France and stuff like that. The men in France are not telling their men to stay in France and date the women there. The men in Australia are not even telling the men in Australia to tell them to date the women there. Even they know bad. These feminized dudes are not telling their men to stay there and date their women. I didn't see the videos yet. But here, you're trying to convince people that they're the same everywhere. Right? That's the funny part. You try to take advantage of lonely single men who never had no sex, and then you try to point them to the nearest prostitute, or you try to point them to the nearest prostitute or escort to take advantage of them. Because you know that this guy might not last that long in bed. And that's going to be the easiest $1,500 that this girl going to make. Because, you know, once a chick I know by experience, once a chick says she charged this type of money, she doesn't try to let you get in 2 shots. She's going to sit back and say, my job is done, and leave you real quick. Because she doesn't want to be there. So you're looking out for the man. You're not looking out for the man. You're looking out for the woman when you tell guys to go to escorts. You're telling them to play a whole overinflated price, maybe get set up, and you know the guy won't last that long. Tiana Trump said it herself. She said, I'll overcharge small dick guys. And then 2 years later, when one of her porn star friends was, you know, de-virginizing a whole bunch of dudes, but she was making fun of them in other videos, she wanted to go and sleep with a virgin to get on the trend. It seemed like she's a good girl. There's a whole different aspect, and it's so complex than saying something like they're women are the same everywhere. You have to deal with the men. You have to deal with who's attractive, who's not attractive on both sides. You have to understand a whole complex of systems before you go overseas. Austin Holloman learned that shit the hard way. I mean, he went to Thailand, got stuck with one Thailand chick that I wouldn't even want to date, and stick with her to try to improve the content while she was mushing him in his face. While another brother had a better looking chick than him. So let me give you an example about the difference in attractive levels. Let's go right here. So
第1問、この中で一番イケメンが好き。川崎選手がご本人含めて4人、でカナン選手がご自身選んで2人という
どっちかだなとは思った。
理想っていうのは誰ですか？名前出して
俳優さんとか、牧健優とか、平野紫耀とか。
So I played this clip because I want to show you that black guys got an overinflated ego. They really think that every country like rappers. They like guys who got tattoos all over their fucking face and thugging and shit. And they think that there ain't a market for the so-called lames and squares. Just because there's not a market for lames and squares here. Why is it that other cultures and countries and men have their own kind of fan club that they can find in their culture with gorgeous women, but the so-called good men here who are awkward, fat, unattractive can't find attractive women, just like the fat and unattractive and awkward men in other cultures can still find attractive women? So She said these actors' name, and this is what these guys look like. That's Hazuki, one of my favorite wrestlers back in the day. Well, one of my favorite wrestlers now. She said this guy. Let's show him. This is what he's looked like. She gushing over this guy. He's a singer. Now let's see here.
At Domino's, you can get any 2 medium 2-topping pizzas for $6.99 each, or lava cakes, bread bites, and more.
Spruce, built by H&R Block, is a new kind of mobile banking app. With no credit check, sign-up fees, monthly fees.
Now, he's in America asking these women who's hot, right? This is the reason why a lot of guys don't leave their market, because these women are overly shallow. But if women were the same everywhere, these women and what these women think, these guys would not have a fan base. They would not have women who love them, and they will not be having the ability to run through women. They'll be stuck in their culture. I mean, they'll be stuck like every other men, and the growing number of men all over the world would have no chance in hell to date. But there are men out there dating, because they got certain systems that prevent some of them dating. And a lot of them, see, they picking a guy that look white. They're not picking a guy who's Japanese, and you can tell. Basically, they like white dudes more than they like a Japanese guy. That tells more about them than anything else.
Oh, okay. Which guy's hotter? This guy. Yeah. All right. How about you?
I'm gonna do the same 3.
Exact same.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now, you see how high-minded that women are in America. If one girl pick a guy that she thinks is hot, the girl gonna go along with it. So basically, a lot of guys here don't have no chance in hell. Because once a girl says she likes somebody, and then another girl says she likes somebody, it takes 5 girls. And I tested this out. It takes 3 girls to convince 5 other girls that a guy's attractive. It happened with Chris Brown when he first came out. It happened with Amorion. It happened with every celebrity when they first started. Same thing with Michael B. Jordan. The same shit that happened with the Michael B. Jordan situation of the corny and all this other stuff. It took like a couple women who found him attractive, and then eventually everybody followed. And now everybody is following each other. Difference between this is that Michael B. Jordan can't take the population of women from the most attractive men in other countries. He could take a majority. He could take a small percent of them, but he can't take all of them, because it's going to be women that isn't really attracted to him at all. But for some reason, these guys say that it's women are the same everywhere. If you can't get women over here, you can't get women over there. That's the shit that they say, right?
Good. Thank you so much. All right. So what do you think about these guys?
They're cute.
Cute?
Yeah.
How about
And they're smart.
smart? You think
This guy.
this guy? Oh.
All of them are picking the guy who looks more white. Like I said, why would any guy leave who dominate in their market leave. Why? There's a reason why a lot of guys stay in there. Even the guys who don't dominate in their market, they looking at these women and like, I don't got no chance. These women are overly shallow. I'm not doing all this crazy shit just to impress her. She's not even worth it. She's at the lower bottom left. Our lower looking women look better than her.
Hey, the guy is hot. Number one.
England.
Japanese idols, like which guy is
Now, this is what the guy looked like. There's certain standards that a lot of guys are not doing. They don't have a lot of dudes telling you to go to the fucking gym. There's guys in other countries that don't even go to the fucking gym. They keep themselves active. There's guys in other countries who got pot bellies and they still get women. They don't have Coach Greg Adams. They don't have all these game coaches. They don't have all these dating coaches filled up in their internets. They don't have a Auburn Preach. They don't have a Cynthia G. They don't have a Reg the Bad Guy. They don't have these type of people in their culture. So they can't be the same. Because they don't have that fucked up shit in their culture. But you want people to stay here and struggle in a place where the culture is fucked up? Are you trying to tell guys to go down south? I got into a back and forth with a dude telling me to go down south. Find a traditional woman. And I said, what the fuck are you talking about? I said, there's plenty of guys from down south who tell men all the time not to go down south and date none of this stuff. You know, there was just like this. What was this dude name? What the fuck this dude name? The fuck this guy name was? He was a dude that was braggadocious and he used to be in the manosphere. I think I forgot what he was named. And he was always bragging about how he get bitches and how he get women and all this. Oh, come down to Dallas. Come down to the Dallas, Texas, Houston. They got bad looking women, blah, blah, blah. And then like it would expose that the women in Dallas look just like the women in New York. And even worser. And people said that's a place to not go. Just like how your boy Ramil Amir was telling people to go to Atlanta. Then it would expose that the women in Atlanta sleep with transsexuals and bisexual men. And they don't even look attractive. And they got STDs, high STDs down there. Then you had Game Changers telling people to go to California. And stupid ass Reg the Bad Guy. And then just found out they got the highest STD rates. But somehow, some way, we supposed to believe these guys, right? Now, the other guy she said she liked. So, if women are the same everywhere, then these bum ass niggas can go to another country and they can go and basically get their dysfunction. The function can be spread overseas as well. But it can't be. Right? Right? What? So, women ain't the same everywhere. They just don't like the fact that they can't keep certain black men in a box anymore. So, let me show you that comment before I stop this video, because hopefully this video don't mess up. Okay. Got it. There's this video. Where does this dude at? Because I was having back and forth and my fucking thing was just popping up for some reason. Here we go. Here this guy go. So, this guy, I think I saw him somewhere. So here we go. So I don't think passport bros are broke, but most of them I seen in TikTok and YouTube are fat seniors or socially awkward men. However, everyone deserves a love, and I don't know what he tried to say right there. If you ain't getting what you want in the States, try your luck somewhere else. And I said this, and you just expose yourself. Fat seniors and socially awkward men, but the women you are telling me are the best looking women. They are so good and have money, they can find men like them. But you just said that passport men are now all fat seniors and all fat seniors, socially awkward men. That's what you just said. But funny, you are not saying anything about how the women are. So women are not socially awkward and fat. Women say the right things every minute and every hour and every day, right? Thank you for the new screenshot. So here we go. I'm saying that men and women should explore their dating option. Everybody deserves the opportunity to find love, happiness, convenience. If you can't find within your country and race, you should expand your option and try dating in other cultures. So basically, he's still trying to act like he's for passport bros, while at the same time throwing shades at passport guys. And I'm also saying I haven't seen a top tier looking passport bro either. So I don't know if this guy is if this is a guy or a woman. But everyone with a YouTube channel making passport pros and videos are fat, or either old, fat, ugly, angry, or socially awkward. Is that a typical passport bro? Probably not, but that's what I see online. And this is the limited view these piece of shits have. So, and everyone else is too comfortable, and you and everyone else is too comfortable talking bad on men. Not every woman and my bad. On men, not women. And thinking that every woman is sexy and fine, my bad, fine and do no wrong. It's like 100 million fine women. Tell me, it's all the women online the best looking women? Tell me that it's all the women online best looking, because you sitting here saying shit like a fat, old, unattractive, angry, and socially awkward based on what you said, but you never said anything about the women at all, not once. You never said anything bad about the women here, so now all the women are top tier. So why can't they find men overseas? You keep showing what side you on. So I think he deleted it. Shit, he deleted it. Oh wow, did he delete the damn thing? Shit, damn. Where's it at? Yeah, this dude deleted it. This guy deleted it. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. If it makes you feel better, I think Western women are far from perfect. A lot of them are materialistic women with entitled issues who take little interest in being fit. It's funny that this person never said anything about them being ugly, unattractive, old. And I seen a lot of anti-passport women. I saw a lot of them. And they are not good looking. But for some reason, this person refused to say anything about that. But they go to the saying entitlement issues and materialistic and not interested in being fat. Most of the women making anti-videos won't win any beauty contests either. You find, isn't it funny that they won't use the same words? This person won't use the same words towards the women that they use towards the men. And they're just going at men and saying how ugly, unattractive they are. But when it's the women, they are taking a more softer tone to these women. I have yet to see a beautiful woman on TikTok complaining about passport bro. I ain't that interesting. Wow. But you're sitting here saying all the men are ugly, but you haven't looked at all the women out there talking bad about passport bros. Oh, wow. Wow. Oh. That's the funny part. So, this is what they say. This is what this anonymous thing said. Right? And isn't that I haven't seen any women on there about passport bro. Isn't that interesting? Happy now, I bash the women too. So I had to sit there and expose this garbage person, if it's a male or female, I don't know who it is. And I had to literally say, oh, I bash the females too. But did you see the kind of wording that this person was using against men, but never against the women? I stand by my passport comment. I haven't seen a young, good-looking top-tier brother yet saying that he was talking. I haven't yet seen a good-looking brother saying he was taking his passport and going overseas. He must have missed the celebrities that are not dating over here. He must have missed all the celebrities that not dating over here. Or she missing the celebrities. But hey, this is what happened when you got one fucking view mind. But hey, now, let me go over here. So let's see the comment right here. We don't know the race of the woman. It haven't been disclosed. It don't matter. The husband was wrong, not the wife trying to escape him. So I ran into this person, I think 7 months ago. That's why the shit looked familiar. Wow. Can't see the comments. So that's what you have to go over here. In other countries and in other cultures, we talking about certain countries and other cultures, they're not comfortable bad mouthing men like they do over here. As you see in the comment, right? They refuse to talk bad about women. They refused. If that's a dude, they don't want their pussy points to be revoked. And if it's a girl, they don't want to talk bad about women. Right? But when it comes down to a subsection of men, they want to put every man in a certain category of being fat, overweight, socially awkward, blah, 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 blah. So it's funny to me that when people say socially awkward, I already broke this down in other videos that so we got to make people laugh 24/7, but what the other person has to do. But we're talking about two people here. So I have to be funny and the person doesn't have to be funny, right? So you got Reg the bad guy making video after video about passport bros, fear mongering because he's a old piece of shit, old guy asking for donations. And you gotta listen to this guy saying stupid shit out his mouth. But one thing about passport bros is that once you leave, you don't have to deal with a Reg the bad guy or a super sly. You don't have to hear these fuckers. You don't have to hear none of these fuckers overseas. They don't have a version of these guys in other cultures because they were already been dead. I can tell you this from jump. These type of dudes will already be dead, and if they was in another culture, they would already be dead. Somebody will already put them in the ground. For the shit that they say, the stuff that they say to people, somebody will already got them out of here. Already. But women are not the same everywhere. Because if that was the case, every woman would be attracted to the same type of guys. That's not the case. They're attracted to who they are attracted to. And you'd be surprised who they're attracted to. They're not like women. The women here like a certain type of guy. So let me get this out. Make this video.